Hey everyone, this is TJ from What Up Ohms. If you're new to the channel, greetings. I'm an electrical engineer based out of Texas. And on this channel, I'm going to discuss everything to do with electrical engineering, whether that be things I experienced as an undergrad and as a recent grad entering the workforce. And hopefully those will be some good tips and advice that you could maybe follow for your journey. And the reason you're all here, you clicked on the video, is because I was able to make $10,000 in 1 year as a freelance writer. Now, as electrical engineers, we don't think that we could be in writing. I mean, I didn't think I could be a writer, and now I'm a freelance writer doing it over a year and a half almost. And it all started because last year during the pandemic, I was in between jobs and I needed to find something to do to get some extra money while I waited for things to progress. I was looking on Indeed, on LinkedIn, and I made sure I beefed up my profile on LinkedIn, that I was open to opportunities. And that's where I landed a message for this writing gig. And it was an HR specialist from a marketing agency who asked if I would consider writing for them. I had never thought of being a writer, so I was intrigued because I was like, okay, this is a good remote job to do, writing, and it's in engineering. We had an interview. They gave me a mock draft submission that I had to do where I had to write about 3 different semiconductor developers and manufacturers that either developed like a new method of doing things. And I had to research all 3, and then write about all 3 in comparison on this article. And they really liked it. The editor got back with some helpful tips and things that they like to see in their articles, and I made note of that, and they basically were gonna put that on their website. It was good to go. So that was really exciting, having that already go online on a website, and it was my first one. They said in 3 days they're gonna send me another one, and that was pretty much the standard, that I would get 1 a week, and I have a 3-day turnaround. So it was on me because I'm getting paid. As a freelance writer, you get paid per article. So it can vary with who you go with. If you work with an agency, how much they're going to pay you. But I treated it like how many hours I'm going to spend on one article. I'm going to break that up, and that's effectively what I pay myself hourly to do the work. So I would try to be more efficient with my time. I was doing a part-time engineering work remotely, and then I would read and research and write the article after that. And that, in the beginning, it's a process. It took me like 8 to 12 hours. So I was making like $8 an hour to do one article. But then I got better. After like the 10th article, I was doing less than 5 hours. So I feel like it was almost like $20 an hour. So as you get better at it and you make your time more efficient, you can effectively pay yourself $20 an hour for one article to work on. And I did that throughout the whole pandemic, or we're still in it, but for the majority of 2020, I was writing and working remotely as an electrical engineer. And it got to the point where I was doing 12 articles in 1 month, which is about $1,300. Now, as a side hustle, or you have another job, that's great extra money. If you wanted to become like a full-time freelance writer, as like an engineer, like you want to leave the engineering workforce to do writing, I would recommend you have to probably start with one agency on the side, and then get other opportunities that like start emailing and talking to other either magazines or agencies to become a writer. You probably have to write for multiple sources in order to generate more than $1,300 in a month. Maybe make $1,300 in 1 week, but that's a lot. So as a side hustle, it's perfect, because if you see that we do 8 to 5, most engineers, it can go longer than that. I know once I was part-time remote, I became full-time remote. It was nearly impossible to do an article a week. And earlier this year, I ended up doing 2 articles in 1 month. So that's not much money as a side hustle, but it was something. And I'm really grateful that the agency I built a relationship with so far allowed me to like be more flexible with my schedule. And now I'm picking up the pace, and I wrote 7 articles this month. So the reason I made this video is because I want to, it's been like a milestone because everything's been going super fast. And this milestone is I had my 100th article published online. And to commemorate it, I made this shirt myself. I did the design, then I went to a place and they made it for me. But I as writer, it's done on purpose like this because when I was an undergrad in Composition 2 class, my professor had said I was like really bad at writing and I had to really work on it, and I barely passed. And her last comments on my last article were that I should probably never pursue a writing gig. So one thing she forgot to tell me is if you work with great editors, then you can be a terrible writer. So I as writer commemorate, always remember I wrote my 100th article and effectively made over $10,000, but it took a lot of work. You're going to have to check your schedule. If you, like I said, work 8 to 5 or 8 to 6, maybe spend like 1 to 2 hours that day or one day and research. Then the next morning, maybe wake up a little earlier before work, like at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and then write for 2 hours. So now maybe you'll spend 4 to 6 hours and it'll feel like a good balance with your work. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share, that it is another option for us as engineers to seek out for a side hustle. We might not always have money to flip a house and we don't have time to do that. And also I feel like if I was a graduate student, I feel like I could do this on the side because as a graduate student, you're working for the school more than likely, and you're working for grants and scholarships so that the school's being paid for with that. So you need money for food and for gas and all the expenses that come with living to go to graduate school. So this could be a really good option is doing freelance writing. It's specifically engineering writing. Anything technical, we're more than qualified. Once you get the degree, it really helps if you've worked in the workforce, but if you do nothing but school, you're still a good fit for writing and engineering because they want somebody who has the technical background, and you've shown that with your degree. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions about how to really dive in and become a freelance writer, just comment below in this video or send me an email. The email's in the description, and I'll see you in the next one. You feel me, Ohms?